Hi, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. Hey, I know, boy, you've been eating turkey and having a good time, but hey, you gotta go to work. All of us eventually have to go to work. And that's what we're starting in 2018. We're starting out with a young man that feels it's a lot of things need to be done here in our metropolitan area. It's Everett Browning Sr. This young man from 24th legislative district is trying to make the Suitland area, Prince George County, Washington, D.C., the whole United States understand how very, very important it is to get young people involved in our economy. Hey, Everett, welcome to the Ed Brown Show.
How you doing, sir? It's always a pleasure to see you. How's everything? And Happy New Year to you, and Happy Holidays.
Happy New Year. Yeah, I saw your signs around. I said, Everett is raring to go here in 2018. Tell us a little bit about your district, this 24th district, so people understand, you know,
Yes,
what
sir.
are you talking about?
So I'm running for state senate in District 24 here in Prince George's County, and that covers a unique area. It goes from Bowie to Mitchellville to the Woodmore, Largo, Lanham area. Then it crosses over the Beltway into Capitol Heights, Suitland area, Fairmont Heights, and Sea Pleasant. So that's, you know, you're one side of the district, you have homes, medium income, maybe over 100,000. And the other side, you have homes with working families who may be on a fixed income, seniors on a fixed incomes, and families who need help. So it's important that we develop a program that benefits everybody, to make sure that we have programs in place that allows everyone to grow as Prince George's County grows. Right now, it seems that certain people are being left out of prosperity in that county. So what I'm running to do is to make sure that everyone has a voice, regardless of your income, regardless of where you live, how you live, that you have a chance to prosper in Prince George's County. And I'm glad for the opportunity to kick the New Year's off here with you, with the election coming up on June 26th. I also have an event coming up in January 12th, coming up at the Woodmore Country Club. And that's the way just to get the voice out there, to talk to the youth, to talk to the elderly, and get them involved, like you said, not only in politics, but the community. We all have an opportunity to have a voice, whether you're at the school board, whether you're at the PTA, whether you're at the county council, the city council meetings. It's important that we all have a voice.
Well, what do you think about this big move that the county council is going to make to Largo? That'll be right in your district.
I'm excited. Yes, you know, beautiful going by yesterday and looking at the new Wayne Curry building that's coming up, and bringing the county council to the center of the county. And hopefully that would mean more people will be involved, more things be open. I think one problem that we're having in politics in this county is a lack of transparency. There's a lot of lack of accountability and lack of trust. So hopefully moving there in that new building, the doors be open so the public, the people who are served, we're able to be able to reach their representatives and see what's going on, come to those meetings, ask questions, and make sure that we have a seat at the table. And you know, all these great things are happening in the county, with the hospital going up, with new town centers going up, with new businesses coming here. We need to make sure that the community has a voice and is aware. So I think moving right there to my district, I'm excited. I'm excited to be there and work with them.
All right, because I've gotten a few calls about the availability of the various agencies. From Upper Marlboro to Largo is right there near the Beltway, and it's but also got some negative things about the senior citizens. They say they still have difficulty parking. You know, in the CAB building down there, everybody knows that, you know, if you don't get there early, you know, you have a hearing or so, it's tough parking. And they're wondering, are the county councilman and a politician thinking in terms of senior citizens? And you know, they're very sensitive now because this is tax time.
It's tax.
and a lot of them have gotten their reassessment.
Yes.
I know I got a reassessment last week.
Yes.
You know, and in order to pay these taxes and reassessment, you got to drive down there and you say, hey, where's the handicap space, you know? And then I'm just wondering, I'm hoping that the county council and the politicians realize how difficult it is and parking in the Largo area too.
Yeah, the Largo area, the building, you know, the building is large and it seems to be more parking space, but it's probably enough. One of the blessings is there's a metro station not too far right there on Largo, which should help. But like you said, a lot of people are coming down there to pay taxes, and we're looking at our taxes going up in Prince George's County. And the biggest question people have is where's our money going?
Yeah.
We're paying some of the highest taxes in the state, but yet we don't get the same resources, whether it's the trash pickup, whether it's road repairs, whether it's our schools, and whether it's opportunities and parking for seniors. So you're right. Not only should we, when you go down there to pay the taxes, I think they should also go knock on the door and say, where's my money going?
Right.
And parking some of their spots, you know, hopefully taking away some of them free cars they were giving the county councilmen, and some of those parking spaces will open up.
Because I made a comment with some of the people that called my office about the possibility to have valet parking for taxpayers. This is for taxpayers only. In other words, when you go down to pay your taxes, you drive up the front door, you have someone take your car, and give you a sticker, and you have a parking space. When you come out, then you, I guess that's too much service.
Well, I'm saying for the amount of money we're paying in taxes, we should be getting valet services, and that's the big deal. Where's all our money going? Because it's definitely not getting to the services that people need. So valet service, where we paying, we should be getting, because we're paying taxes. We're paying taxes like we live in Beverly Hills, and yet we getting treated like we live in the back of the hills.
Right. You're right, because I've heard some people suggest that. They say, hey, why not say I go down there and I see county cars and police cars parked at the front door. Say, why don't they have valet parking for taxpayers only? In other words, you show your tax bill and the guy comes out, takes your car, give you a ticket, then you come out, then you know, the people with those crutches and problems with their health and everything, they wouldn't have. And those are the people that make the county what it is today.
You're right.
They've been here paying taxes for 20, 30 years.
Not only have they been here, they fought to come here. You know, a lot of people came here 30, 40 years ago. You know, African Americans weren't welcome in this county, and they came here and they fought. Despite discrimination, they built this amazing county on their backs, and they should be treated with more respect. So the elderly and disabled shouldn't just be looked at as a called up when it's time to vote. People go pick them up for free rides when it's time to vote, but you can't pick them up when they need services. We need to get to grocery stores. You know, we have places in 24 that they actually have food deserts where some of our seniors have to catch buses to go to the grocery store. So you're right. So we need to make sure if you can pick them up on a bus to get them to vote, pick them up and bring them down there to pay their taxes, pick them up and take them to the grocery stores, pick them up and take them to their doctor's appointment. Make sure that the resources and things we give them go both ways.
Yeah, I thought about that. I said, well, gee, these assessments are right on the ball. Got mine Friday, you know. Right away, the assessment tripled, doubled, you know. But and the same thing occurred when you senior goes down to pay the taxes. You know, they got to hunt for a space.
Yeah, I find it interesting that assessment of homes, which is great, is going up. That the assessments went up the same time that the trim law was changed, so the county tax on your homes went up. Yeah. So the value of your home raises your tax, and all of a sudden the value of your home went up. Right. That seems very coincidental, but I understand that, you know, we need revenues to build the county. I understand because a lot of businesses, small businesses, have been turned away from coming to the county because they haven't been treated fairly. They haven't been given opportunity to grow. And so when you don't have businesses to grow, the tax base falls on the homeowner. So we need to change that, bring in more businesses, and stop giving these huge breaks to these huge corporations that come. They come here, they get a huge tax breaks. They don't hire our young people or the local people because they say we don't have the skills, the training to work here, but yet we don't make them put money into the high schools, into the colleges to start a training program to make sure that they're able to start working there. The vocational training, the skill trainings need to be a new focus. Right now in the school system, we measure success on how many kids we send to college, which is a great thing, how many kids graduate. But when you only have, let's say, 35% of your kids going to college, how are you measuring success for those other 60% of kids? How are you making sure they're prepared to go to work, to get a job, to be successful, to buy homes, so they can pay taxes too, so they can start jobs and be entrepreneurs and start companies? So we need to reinvest in our future while also taking care of those who built the foundation here.
Well, speaking about that and education, what do you think about the problems that the Board of Education is having as far as members concerned, as far as the losing grants like the Head Start program? I think they lost $6.8
Yes, sir.
million or something like that. And then what happened is the governor said, well, maybe you need overseer. And so what happened is that he gave the Prince George County Board of Education, I think about $28 million to make sure that the program, like the Head Start program, continues. But a lot of people are saying that it's top heavy. In other words, say you got staff members making 6 and 7 figures, and then the problem losing a program like Head Start program is like some of my listeners have said, is ridiculous, because the Head Start program is over 20-some years old. You would have to have mastered the process,
the process
for qualifying. Why would you lose $6.8 million out of a program that's been functioning 20 years? And then the governor, you have to give him credit. They had investigation of the school board, and the school board, a lot of the young people are complaining about the appointees associated with families and things of that nature, but they want to see some changes above, in the superintendent's level law, but they seem to have skated around it by firing some of the 9-to-5 people.
It's a shame. The biggest, with this fight with the school board right now, the only people who are losing are the students, the parents, and the teachers. You're right. A lot of the programs, everybody knows we need more resources in Prince George County schools, but the problem is, who's being accountable for the resources? The money is coming in and is going to the administrative and is not getting down to where it needs to be.
Right.
A lot of the teachers feel that retributions when they speak up. They're being forced to push some kids through the school system who aren't ready. And I went to a few schools, and I did some time shadowing teachers and shadowing principals. And they spend most of their days dealing with simple problems with like supplies and making sure they're filling out paperwork, and it's taken away from teaching. The school board on both ends seems to be more concerned about pointing fingers than they are about making things right. The school, Prince George County schools have had troubles for a couple of decades. They've tried different things. There's been an all-elected school board. That didn't work. There's been corruption across up and down the line. And it seems the problem is we keep turning to the same elected officials to make decisions. So recently, it was the state legislature who gave the power to the county exec to appoint people. And now they're going back to, and now these same legislators are asking what happened. Well, you gave the power without oversight. And so the idea of giving more money to people who've shown they can't be accountable with their current money makes no sense to me. So we're asking the same people who have neglected our kids. So many schools in this area here need to be rebuilt. They have mold, they have bad water, people are getting sick, and yet we're giving bonuses to the top people, where teachers around here, our best teachers, are leaving and going other places. We need to find ways to maintain and retain the best teachers, make sure our kids have a healthy environment, and make sure the money is going first. When teachers have to go in their pockets to buy simple things like paper and chalk and stuff for their kids, while administrators are getting 6-figure bonuses, there's a problem. And there needs to be some type of oversight, and the school board needs to bring in transparency. Instead of worrying about who's wrong, let's worry about how to make things right, and let's hold the people accountable who keep changing these laws with no accountability. You can't just keep giving bad money after bad money and wonder what's happening.
Well, actually, the legislators, they seem to think that when MGM come in and we be getting that $50 million a year for education, that would solve the problem. But that proved itself incorrect.
Yeah, well, I think from the beginning it wasn't more incorrect. It was a misleading, and to a certain degree, it was a lie that they knew was true. They knew that money wouldn't supplement the rule. What they did was the money the MGM gave to the school system, they took that money from the regular budget and put it somewhere else.
Oh.
So let's say the school budget was, $100 million. If the MGM gave it $25 million. You would think the school budget now is $125 million.
Yeah.
But they say, no, it's still $100 million. We're going to take $25 million out the regular budget and put it in the general fund and disappear.
Fund.
So, and that's the problem. And we knew that from the beginning, but they misled the public. And unfortunately, politicians are continually allowed to mislead us because we don't hold them accountable. We don't hold them accountable when we go vote. We don't hold them accountable to their record, and we allow them to constantly point the finger. I hear so many politicians showing up, telling all the great things that are happening and what they did in the community. But I haven't heard anyone show up and say, this is wrong and I'm accountable. Leadership means that you give credit to everyone else when something goes good, but you take the blame when something goes wrong. And I have not seen one politician stand up and say, our school system's not going right, our taxes not going right, our elderly is not going right, the homelessness rate is going up, and it's on me to fix it. I have failed you. That accountability is missing. I misled you with the MGM. They tell you, so either there's two things. Yeah. Either they misled us or they were incompetent. Either which way they need to go.
One of the two. Yeah.
One of the two. Choose one, but you got to go.
Right, right. Well, what happens is that they thought getting young people on the school board would be one of the problems, but it seems that every time you turn around, some young member of the school board, it was to the point that they wanted to get rid of the chairman, and they voted, in fact, I think 5 out of 9 to change the top. And that was ignored by the existing politicians. And so the faith that the young people have in the system is going down the drain.
It is. I mean, a lot of I commend a lot of the young members on the school board and a lot of young pioneers, a lot of young teachers, because they are passionate about making a difference. They're not standing for the status quo. You need a mixture. You need the experience, because sometimes you're young, you're ambition. You need someone to explain to you the process. And so you need that experience there, but at the same time, you can't be afraid of change. So many people are worrying about losing power, worrying about losing money, that comes before what it should be about, which is making sure the teachers have the ability to give the love and education to the kids, and that the parents feel safe in our school system. So many of our parents nowadays are paying taxes, but they're still taking our kids out, they're putting their kids in private school because they don't trust the school system anymore. So we need to start listening to the, and making sure that every member of the school board, whether they're elected, whether they're appointed, are accountable and can be removed and should be removed. Once you lose the faith of the community, you're responsible to the community. Once you lose that faith, you have to be removed. And right now, it seems like the community is losing faith in the leadership of the school board. And so they're not involved anymore. They're taking their kids out. Investors are leaving. We live in one of the most robust areas with the federal government, and right now they're looking hard for ways to invest in the next generation for computer and STEM training. They're looking for elementary, high schools, and middle schools where they can put money into, because they need the next generation of coders. But they don't have any trust right now to partner with Prince George's community, because they worry about the corruption and they worry about the lack of accountability and trust. So we need leadership that we trust, so we can have the federal government and other agencies and business invest in our schools, so we can make sure our kids are prepared to be the next generational wealth, to be the next leaders, that they can buy homes in our communities, that they can invest in our communities.
Well, one thing that in your district, which is occurring, which is very, very positive, is that the new hospital.
Yes, yes.
And the thing that I'm trying to get over to the people of Prince George County is this is the time to get a research segment into this hospital. Now you have the academics with University of Maryland being involved in. You'll have schools that can handle the type of research that's necessary. Most of us think of terms think in terms of research and things of that nature. We think of the younger people, but now each day you get more and more senior citizens, more and more veterans.
Yes.
That have problems that have been like arthritis. It's a problem that eventually everyone, if you live long enough, you're going to be affected, or someone in your family is going to be affected. But I think this is time for Prince George's to really get out, talk to their representatives about getting research unit into this hospital. Because what they don't understand, just like Johns Hopkins, is when you have research unit, you attract money.
Yes, and that's the big thing, sustainability of the hospital.
Because most of them say, well, we don't have the money for that. You do have the money for that, you know, because people are spending it elsewhere.
And that's the problem. And we've seen many, you know, over the years, many great hospitals in Prince George's County, unfortunately, not being able to survive or be able to provide the care they want to because we don't bring the money in. It's great that we're partnering with University of Maryland, but we also need to be established as one of the premier hospitals in the nation in a certain area. You know, as you know, I spent over 20 years in the military. I'm a disabled veteran, and I know so many veterans in this area who need specialized care. While they get great care at Walter Reed and Bethesda, there are a lot of them who can't make it out that far, and there are a lot of veterans nowadays who need help in special areas, whether it's arthritis, whether it's another area you look at is also mental health. So, you know, there's a lot of mental health, you know, issues happening in our community right now that leads to things as dementia, domestic violence, and our kids. So we need to make sure that we find a way to specialize in something that helps our community and helps the world. That we can make sure that everyone is benefiting. It's not just a hospital there, because if a hospital is just surviving on patients, it won't survive long.
No.
You need the research dollars. You need people from around the world want to come here and train. You need the best doctors and the best scientists to want to come here and to work with the community in the hospital to make sure we're striving. We need outside dollars, outside of even though, you know, it seems the insurance and the medical cares are real high right now, and we need to make sure we protect our seniors and our families' health care as much as we can. We still need to make sure that we understand the business beside our hospitals. Whether we like it or not, at the end of the day, a hospital is a business. Healthcare is a business. And we need to understand and make sure that business is surviving so that premier healthcare is given to the amazing citizens of Prince George's County.
And really, I think things like that, you don't wait and develop, I would say, specific, like a senior citizen unit or veterans. I think we should prepare the youngsters now to be able to develop those type of specialized facilities now. And now is the time for the money to get involved, the University of Maryland, to think in terms of the future and the futures of those two groups, the veterans and the senior citizens.
And I think about the young people.
Many people.
They're hurt, they're going to need help, they're going to need beds. I think of the young people. I ask myself, how many new programs are coming along online, you know, at the community college or the high schools to help the young people prepare to work in the medical field, whether it's as technicians, whether it's as nurses, CNAs, doctors, you know, administrators in the hospital. What are we doing to make sure that our young next generation have the skills to be employed at this new hospital? You know, I haven't seen any new programs pushing for grants and other things to have our young kids in this area prepared to take on those jobs, from doctors, x-ray techs, sonograph, you know, taking blood, administrator, all those things that go into the hospital. Young people are being prepared to work there so they can take care of their family members, so they have the passion to see, you know, their parents, their grandparents get the best care going forward.
Well, I think the emphasis is, I always talk about this, is youngsters, they seem to, and it's just not affected in this area. It's all over the country, is that they're closing trade schools to the point that they de-emphasizing trade school and talking about academics. And most of the youngsters can't afford the tuition. Some of them come out of school owing house notes.
Yes.
You know,
And the parents too. I just had 3
yeah.
kids come out of college, and I can tell you,
Yeah.
it's a lifetime debt.
Yes.
It's a lifetime debt.
It's a lifetime that they end up with families still paying the school loan.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
10, 20 years.
And more than that, 30 years later, they're still paying the school loans off.
School loans off. And that's the burden that I think that the youngsters shouldn't have to have. They shouldn't have to carry that. We should make provisions to provide that type of opportunity for the youngsters, because that keeps them in to the county, that keeps their tax dollars in the county.
You're right. There are a lot of states that give almost free state tuition for students if the students qualify. So we need to work with the community college to expand that for kids for 2 years training. We need to, like you said, expand vocational training. So everyone is not meant to go to college, and we have to stop telling kids. We test them early, and if they don't test right, all of a sudden we take them off the track and tell them they can't be successful. Just because you're not going to college right away doesn't mean you can't be successful. You can't be great.
Exactly.
You know, I tell people all the time, the biggest house on my block belongs to a plumber.
Right.
You know, so because he's always in business.
All you have to do is call a plumber, electrician, and you'll find out.
Find out that's a good living right there.
Hey, this guy, hey, $50. He was over there in 10 minutes. But those are the realistic things about that, which I think we're de-emphasizing. And I really push the idea of the junior colleges getting involved so that youngsters, you get into vocational aspects of it, where he has at least 1 degree in 2 years, and then continue at the Higher Learning Institute, because everybody doesn't need to go to college. Everybody doesn't need college. And we have to realize that, because it hurts the grandparents, hurts the parents years later.
Yes, every kid needs to be prepared for life, whether it's college, whether vocational training. We have to make sure that we setting that kids for success and not telling them there's just one path. There's many paths to get there. If they're not ready to go to school, what are you going to do to get them certification? Because right now there are a lot of great unions in this area. There's a lot of great places they can work in this area. And a lot of the jobs, tell you with the federal government as contractors now, they want certifications in the computer classes. They don't want you to have degrees, because they say you learn too much. They want you to come with a basic understanding of code writing and computers.
And
to come there and then they come in there, get your clearance and grow. So we need to do a better job. You know, I'm the vice president of mentoring for a great organization, the 100 Black Men of Prince George's County. And one of our goals is to re-educate the mindset of the schools, the parents, and teachers about the definition of success. It's not coming out and being a millionaire or having a bunch of degrees. It's being able to provide and protect for your family and have a skill set. It's something that happens to a young person when they know, I have a skill set that's going to be with me forever. Whether it's electrician, HVAC, plumbing, even farming, whatever it may be, that you can provide for yourself anywhere in this world. That's a surprise for them. We need to redefine that.
We have to wrap it up now. Tell us some of the most important things you're going to be talking about during your campaign. You have 2 seconds.
Well, thank you. Thanks again, Mr. Brown. Like I said, I'm Everett Brown and running for Maryland State Senate District 24. My website is www.electbrowning.com. I'm having an event on January 12th at the Woodmore Country Club. I'm a retired veteran. I'm a businessman. I'm a community advocate. I'm a mentor. And my main focus is making sure that everyone benefits, that we focus not only on education, but we look at workforce development, workforce training, opportunities for not only employment, but home ownership. This county is amazing right now and is growing, but we got to make sure it benefits everyone. It's being controlled by certain people with special interests who wants to keep control and not let the small voices be heard. We need to get involved and make sure this is our county and realize public officials work for us. The best way to make sure that your voice is heard is to vote, and that's on June 26th. But before then, go to your PTA, go to your HOA association, go down to your city council, your county council meeting. Make sure that they understand that you will not be silent anymore. I look forward to investing with you and partnering with you to make a difference.
Okay, you heard it here on the Ed Brown Show, but we've been talking about it, but you have to do your homework. You are the one. You're just as important as anyone else. So don't forget to vote. Volunteer for something. Help somebody in 2018. This has been Ed Brown. See you next time.